Planet X, or Planet 9, is a mysterious celestial body that is most likely located far out in our solar system. No one has seen it yet, but there is evidence of its existence that can no longer be denied. Today, we look at the latest evidence for the existence of Planet X and explore the question of when this ninth and most mysterious planet in the solar system will finally become visible. But first, we'd like to ask you to contribute to our channel. We look forward to your lively participation in the form of engaging, interesting, or even entertaining comments. If you are one of our subscribers, we will always thank you with a heart and will pin your important contribution to the top where everyone will read it first. Just make sure you've already subscribed, like the video, and mention both at the beginning of your comment. Music, Planet X or Planet 9, the last great mystery. After the discovery of Pluto, many researchers thought that finally, all the planets of the solar system were known. But then, mysterious trans-Neptunian objects and a whole series of dwarf planets appeared in the Kuiper Belt at the very edge of the solar system. These comparatively small and perhaps insignificant celestial bodies, however, are not the really interesting things that researchers have discovered in recent years. Rather, what is possibly the last great mystery of our solar system is a planet that is up to 10 times larger than Earth and completely turns everything known so far on its head. The rumors around a 10th, or now even 9th, planet in the solar system are already about 100 years old. When Pluto was still a real planet and the 9th planet in the solar system, the last of the big planets was called Planet X or also Planet 9. So, since Pluto lost its official planet status in 2006, Planet X would now be the 9th major planet in the system. Pluto's size and properties are far too similar to the many other dwarf planets that were discovered far out in the solar system after the turn of the millennium. Scientists had to decide between potentially adding dozens more mini-planets to the ranks of official planets or drawing a dividing line somewhere. They chose the latter, and Pluto ultimately didn't make it in front of that line and is now officially a dwarf planet of low importance to the solar system. With Planet X, this thing already looks completely different because everything which researchers know so far about this planet is that it's anything but small. If this planet really exists, it is at least up to 3 to 10 Earth masses. Evidence for the existence of Planet X. Already at the beginning of the 20th century, researchers observed anomalies in the movements of the planets Uranus and Neptune. For a long time, this was blamed on an interplay between the planets. But since 1989, when the Voyager probe examined Neptune in detail, we know that the cause of the slight orbital deviations of the planets must be due to something else. Since the discovery of the trans-Neptunian objects, there's increasing evidence for a large object very far from the Sun. The 6 trans-Neptunian objects have orbits that are very different from the orbits of all other planets. It almost seems as if these objects form something like a system of their own. And this system must have a gravitational attraction point, and this is supposed to be the mysterious Planet X. A few years ago, researchers searched through numerous data from the infrared astronomical satellite, which was about 13 years old. The IRIS telescope was the first system that could image about 96% of the night sky without gaps. Among 250,000 light sources in the immediate vicinity of the solar system, researchers identified 3 conspicuous features. Light usually emanates only from stars, closer planets, cosmic nebula, supernovas, and sometimes smaller bodies such as asteroids and comets. These objects are often not so easy for astronomers to distinguish at first glance. Only the objects of the light spots provide more precise information about the type of light source. Objects that remain almost static in one place are stars or nebula, while fast-moving points can be a planet or, in exceptional cases, a very large asteroid. This type of observation showed that one of the 3 conspicuities within the IRIS system must clearly be a comparatively fast-moving point within the solar system. The scientists determined a calculated size of 3 to 5 Earth masses and a distance from the Sun equivalent to about 225 astronomical units. 1 astronomical unit gives the average distance of the Earth to the Sun. In practice, this is 149,597,870.7 kilometers. So, this object was quite far out in the solar system, much further than Neptune or even Pluto. Further studies of the strongly eccentric orbits of the already mentioned trans-Neptunian objects showed that the gravitational center of orbital distortion must be an object with about 10 Earth masses and a very eccentric orbit around the Sun. The closest position to the Sun was found to be 200 astronomical units, and the farthest orbital points of this object measure about 1,200 astronomical units. All in all, such an object would have to be in orbit around the Sun for about 20,000 years. A barely visible planet, this far out in the solar system, even large objects like the hypothetical planet X hardly reflect any sunlight. Nevertheless, this fact does not mean that the existence of planet X cannot be proven. To date, hardly anyone has actually seen any of the 5,000 or so known exoplanets. Researchers calculate their existence on the basis of minimal variations of the stars around which they orbit or perceive them as tiny dots. Again, it is the motion, or rather its effects on other celestial bodies, that clearly reveals a planet. Neptune's existence was also predicted in this way long before the actual planet finally became visible to ever-improving telescopes. Further calculations showed that a planet of this size would have to have a brightness of 25 magnitudes at its furthest location from the Sun. At the nearest point, it would still be 18 magnitudes. In comparison, Pluto, which is easily visible with modern telescopes, has a brightness of 15 magnitudes. 25 magnitudes should be in the range of the Hubble Space Telescope. The new James Webb Telescope should be able to see even better. And actually finding the ninth planet shouldn't be too much of a problem after all. The only problem at the moment is that researchers have to meticulously search an incredibly large area, and the observation times of both space telescopes are booked up and tight for years in advance. All hopes of tracking down the mysterious planet X currently lie with a brand new telescope, which is expected to begin work next year. New Super Telescope in Chile, tracking down exoplanets and the mysterious ninth planet of our solar system, is at the top of the list for the brand new European Extremely Large Telescope. Known only as the ELT for short, the European Southern Observatory's facility is currently under construction in the Atacama Desert in Chile. With 5 giant mirrors, the European Extremely Large Telescope will once again set new standards in space observation. The telescope's largest mirror is 39 m in diameter. Previous telescopes have had a maximum of 10 mirrors. The facility's 3,200 megapixel camera is the size of an automobile, making it the largest camera ever pointed into space in human history. In addition to shedding light on the nature of nearby exoplanets, researchers hope this new telescope will also shed light on whether Planet 9 really exists and where exactly it's located. Do we have a black hole on our doorstep? Skeptics of the planet theory, meanwhile, paint a very different picture of the outermost edge of our solar system. They do not believe in the existence of a further planet. Rather, they assume that the orbital shifts of Uranus and Neptune and the eccentric orbits of the trans-Neptunian objects are due to the existence of a primordial black hole. Primordial black holes, in theory, are those that formed directly in the process of the Big Bang and the phase of cooling that immediately followed. They are thus among the oldest black holes and, compared to younger black holes, are less attractive and thus less destructive. But admittedly, the suspicion that there is a black hole right on our cosmic doorstep seems less sympathetic than the presence of a ninth mystery planet. Nevertheless, it cannot be denied at this time that the influences of a light black hole may be so similar to those of another planet that both theories must be considered until facts are available. Skeptics also like to cite in their arguments that the existence of a planet of this size so far out in the solar system is very unlikely. As we know, the planets behind the gas giants Jupiter and Saturn are getting smaller and smaller. How could a planet possibly 10 times larger than Earth have reached the edge of the solar system? For this question, scientists found answers in the meantime, which still speak for the existence of the planet. Since we are able to observe exoplanets, we know that our Milky Way contains an amazingly large number of loner planets. These planets, known as rogue planets, do not orbit a star. Instead, they are in orbit around the galactic center or flying freely through interstellar space. Such rogue planets have been sighted in all imaginable sizes. There are Earth-like vagabond planets and even those the size of the gas giants Jupiter or Saturn. Some of these planets have been proven to have other planets or small bodies bound to them, or loner planets get close to star systems and then become bound to them. It is even said that such free-roaming planets pull other planets out of their star systems. This happens especially when the free-roaming celestial bodies get very close to a star system, and there is a planet inside the system which interacts strongly with the vagabond due to its position and nature. There are currently two theories regarding Planet X's peculiar orbit. The planet could have once been a solitary planet, which then bound the trans-Neptunian objects to itself and finally also tugged at the orbits of Neptune and Uranus. Or it may have once been in the interior of the solar system and was catapulted out of its orbit by some as yet unknown event. Since it did not escape the attraction of the Sun completely, it turns today somewhere at the outermost edge in its long orbits around the Sun. Only the future will be able to show which of these assumptions will prove true. In any case, we can already be curious because probably the final proof of the existence of the ninth planet is imminent. You tell us now what you think about this mysterious planet. Do you believe in its existence? Or do you have a completely different explanation for the peculiarities at the edge of our solar system? We're looking forward to your opinion and your discussions about the topic. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time at our channel.